Right now, I open the phone lines, which we rarely do, and Carmen really hates, to talk about people who would still be voting for Trump if he is in jail. That's what I want to know. I'm not here to knock you. I'm not here to tell you it's right or wrong. I'm just curious to see what you would do if he ends up getting convicted. He's convicted, but if he ends up getting jail time for his conviction.
So do you want to know what happens if he goes to jail?
Yes.
As far as if he becomes president,
Yes.
he goes to jail. It says if Trump were unable to fulfill his constitutional duties due to imprisonment, the majority of his cabinet and the vice president could remove him from office and transfer his authority to the vice president.
Interesting that he hasn't picked his vice president yet, because now he's going to have somebody that's going to guarantee he keep a spot.
Yeah.
Well, by then he will, because usually before the RNC is when they have the vice presidential candidate.
Who knows, Gio? Who knows what's going to happen? I know what you're saying, but who
usually
knows?
they do by then, because they'll speak. Usually
Because they have to accept the nomination at the convention.
Usually the VP speaks the night before, the nominee.
Right. Oh, this is going to be weird. All right, I'm going to go right to the phone lines. Good morning, Mike. You're on the Mike Calta Show. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good. How are you?
So, are you a Trump supporter now?
I would say I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not like a diehard Trump supporter by any means.
But your plan was to vote for him as of yesterday. You were going to vote for him in November.
Correct, and I still find that true today, even despite the guilty verdict.
What if on the 11th of July, Slurpee Day, they tell you he's going to serve 10 years in prison, which would have him in jail at the time of the election? Would you still vote for him?
Well, I don't think I would be able to. I mean, it would be tough to vote for somebody that's not able to, I think Galvin just touched on it a minute ago, not be able to fulfill that role. So that it just wouldn't make sense for the country to have someone in prison try to run the country through its cabinet.
So then what would you do? Would you then vote for Biden, or would you vote for another candidate? Or what if Trump has a strong vice president, and who might that be that you would still vote for that party?
If Trump had a strong vice president, I particularly like Ramaswamy. I know a lot of people don't, but I like him. I think he appeals to the youth, and he's very articulate. Then I might reconsider it. But if Trump is in a position where he can not be in jail, maybe convicted but not do jail time, he's still going to get my vote, due to the fact that I think any open-minded person would agree that this is kind of a weaponization of the judicial system. And if this proves to be successful, then it just kind of reinforces that this is a useful tactic in the future. And one day the roles are going to reverse. The right side do it to the left side, which is equally as bad. So if it doesn't work, then I think, I think it diminishes that this is a tactic, and maybe will not be used again in the future because it didn't work out. But if it does work, then that's kind of scary for everybody, I think.
I think so too. And okay, so there you go. You seem like a pretty sane guy. You're going to vote for him, but if he's in jail, it'll depend on who's the vice president and all that. That makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate the call, sir. Let's go to Maria. Maria, good morning. You're on the Mike Calta Show. How you doing, Maria?
Good.
All right. So Trump is found guilty. He gets sentenced to 20 years in prison, and you have the election on November 5th. What is your plan?
I'm still going to vote for him.
Still going to vote for him, even if he's in jail?
Yes, because this is all a sham. And like the previous caller said, people better beware, because this was all politically driven. But I wonder if he did get sentenced, but what if he won the presidency? Couldn't he pardon himself?
No, that is one of the things he cannot do. Yeah, I know. We all thought
What
it.
about the vice president? Could the vice president pardon him?
That's interesting. If the vice president became president because the president was unavailable to fulfill his duties, could the vice president then pardon him? Maybe, but he won't be president again. He would just be pardoned of his crime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would still vote for him. This is all just politically driven, and people need to really listen. They might not like him, but his policies were good. And come January, the tax cuts that he, put.
You're breaking up a little, Pumpkin.
Paycheck.
Hey, so
And that's a big deal.
Real quick, Marie, you broke up, but I wanted to just ask you a question. So I want to reiterate this: if he is going to be in jail at the time of November 5th for the election, you would still vote for him.
Absolutely. And I'm a Hispanic woman.
All right, hey, I'm just
middle class,
just
suburban.
asking, not judging. Thank you, thank you, Viva la Trump.
And Mike, you said like if he gets 20 years or something. This is what I read yesterday. I'm not sure if this is fact or not, but he only faces up to 4 years.
No,
for his crimes.
For each count.
Yeah.
For each count.
For each count, the most he can get is 20 years.
Okay, gotcha. Because what I read, he was only facing 4 years, which I was like, that seems interesting.
Yeah, that would only be the 4 years.
It's 4 years for each count, which is 34 counts, but that doesn't add up to it. He can only do 20 years, is what they say.
All right. Dee Dee, good morning. You're on the Mike Calta Show.
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
Wow, I thought I'd never get there. Well, listen, I found your topic very interesting, and I am a Trump supporter, and I will tell you why. Throughout history, we've always had a corrupt government. It's just never been exposed. I don't know why this would be new. Trump has a great track record with what he did with our country. He turned it around, flipped it around, and he showed respect for our country and other countries, which is fantastic. Nobody's going to be perfect. I don't care who you are. When you're rolling in money, no matter what you got, there's always something going on. Now, when you look at Biden is guilty, and you can clearly see it. You don't see anybody going after his family, the corruption he's done with China. You know, it's like, oh, wait a minute, it's clear cut. It's like Sleepy Joe Biden hiding in the attic, and they're all leaving him alone. He's moved up in the basement. But I don't understand why we have to have a double standard in our country. That applies to all the laws we have, no matter what area you're in.
Well,
my question is, why does that happen?
I'll tell you why. It's because for years we only have a two-party system, and it's one versus the other. And what's good for the goose is good to the gander. So if it happens, one person's doing something corrupt, the other side's doing something corrupt. That's the problem. There's nobody else for us. We don't have more than two choices. So we've relied on one of the two, the lesser of two evils, for most of our lifetime, which is not a good position for us to be in. I understand where you're coming from,
I agree.
and I know what you're saying, but my question is going to be for you, is that come November 5th, if Trump is in jail, will you still vote for him?
Oh, I certainly will, because you know what? Nobody can take away the right of somebody that's doing for our country. I don't care where you are. You can be in too, and if you have a good track record and you did a darn good job, you can run great from jail. I mean, you got people that are cartels and illegal things running head properties that are from jail.
Yeah.
So you know what? Trump only gave loose orders.
Yeah.
No one thought of this, but I'm looking at that. It's funny, but it's true. He's gained a lot of respect. He's got tough skin. And listen, nobody's got a perfect life or a perfect track record. But he has shown the country that he can do a great job. So why would I just abandon him when he needs me the most, when I want a better outcome for my country? We're going into communism, as scary as it is. Yeah. I need somebody like Trump. If he's going to be in jail, he's going to get all the supporters there, too. Why not? Get everybody going.
May I ask, and you don't have to answer, but your ethnicity and your age?
Well, I'm a child of God, and I'm well past 5.
Okay. That was a roundabout way to do it, but I'll take it. I'll take it, Punkin. Thank you.
All right, and I want God to bless you, because Satan is running around on the dark side creating ruckus. We all can't forget him, and we have to know that he's creating ruckus. So let's pray to God that everything goes right for our country, for your radio station, and for all the wonderful people that work with you.
Dominic for biscuits.
Praise
Thank
Satan.
you, Punkin. Appreciate it.
Okay. Come on.
Yeah.
It's ruckus.
She's a ruckus.
You don't want ruckus?
No, I don't
What
want
would
ruckus.
life be without ruckus?
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
this
Ruckus at Rikers.
Oh.
This show really does not have a lot of female listeners.
Mike Calta Show, good morning.
Yeah, what's up, Mike Calta? Yesterday was my birthday.
Oh,
Medicine Man.
Happy birthday, Medicine Man. Mike Calta Show, good morning. Hello. All right. Mike
Yeah,
Calta
you
Show.
talking to me yet?
Oh, hold on. Hold on. I got,
You got 2 calls.
now I got too many.
All right.
There you go, sir. You there? How are you?
Yes.
Yes, I'm talking to you. What do you got? What's your name?
Okay, great. Well, Eric,
Eric, what do you got, Eric?
the problem is with the two-party system, like you said, we don't have a choice. If you don't vote for the Republican Party, whether it be Trump or anyone, then you are voting for the way it's still going.
Yes.
So you don't.
You're
You're not
especially
voting
in
for
this
the
election.
person anymore.
Especially in this election, because you're voting for the same guy leading the same way that it's going. So if you've enjoyed these last 4 years, then you're getting 4 more of it for sure.
Right, and as divided as this country is, and as tight as the last election is, whether you regard it as stolen or not, you don't have any votes to give up, simply because the candidate is in jail.
Yeah.
You're voting for the party. You're voting for the direction you want the government to lead you.
But who is the party? I get it. I know exactly what you're saying. I understand. But the leader of that party is in jail. So who is running things? Do we like right now? I don't know the answer to that. You don't know the answer to that. So we don't know what the choice is. And people are still. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just pointing out people are still blindly ready to vote for Trump, even if he's in jail.
I understand that as well. Who's running the country right now, in your opinion? Is it Biden? Is he truly running the country? Is he making decisions?
I mean, I would have to assume yes, but I don't think that the president is responsible. Well, I don't think the president is responsible for many decisions by himself. I believe many of it is
and that's exactly what I'm saying as well.
Right.
I don't believe the president is responsible for a lot of decisions on his own. So you're basically
let me ask you this, Eric. Yeah. I think though, when Trump was president, I feel like he did make a lot of those decisions.
Well, he did sign a lot of executive orders that gave him a lot more power, which is what people were pissed off about the first 100 days.
But he was responsible for a lot of those decisions. He, unlike what we feel is happening now. So you're saying it would be better off to have the Republican Party in there, no matter who the leader is, because you don't want to have the same thing that's happened before.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah.
You need to have the party change, not necessarily the person.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to ask you the same thing. With Trump being in jail, we have no idea who his vice presidential choice is going to be, or his cabinet, or any of those things. Right now, you would still cast your vote for an incarcerated Trump.
I feel like I wouldn't have a choice, but yes, I would.
And I'm not judging you on that. I just want to clarify these things. Eric, I appreciate your call, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I get what he's saying. I don't want to vote for Biden. Do I vote for an incarcerated Trump especially with the unknown factors right now? I don't know that I can make that decision. I don't know that I vote for a third party. I don't know if I do a write-in vote. I don't know what the idea is.
Because if you don't vote for incarcerated Trump and you don't vote for Biden, that's basically voting for Biden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have, by not voting, that is a vote for Biden, basically. It's sad. So it's either you vote for incarcerated Trump or you vote for Biden.
Let me ask you this. What were you going to say, Joe?
I said I would vote for any system that, against any system that is trying to arrest or eliminate their opponent.
Yes, which is what happened now.
Yeah.
May I pose this question to you?
Wait, let me ask you this first. Just keep your thought.
Okay.
I'm just going to forget mine.
Okay.
What if Ramaswamy came out as a third-party candidate and said, listen, I was with Trump. I supported Trump. I voted for him. I wanted to line with him, and now he's going to jail. And you can't have a president serve the people from prison. Vote for me, and I will carry out Trump's plan. I will do what Trump wanted to do with a little bit of my younger business spin on it. Does Ramaswamy become the leader now?
Not only does he become the leader and on the forefront, but he would devastate the Republican Party. He would
for sure, because he would take all those votes away.
Oh my God, dude!
Yeah.
Everything that they've been working towards the last 4 years would all be a waste. And I think you talk about the Democratic Party being in like crazy mode right now. Watch the Republican Party just go bananas.
I think there's so much money invested in the two-party system that nobody can take it down, no matter who they are.
Probably.
There's too many. Too many people have too much to lose who are invested in both these parties to take it down. There's too much money involved.
Can I pose it to you this way?
Yeah.
Would you vote for a dominant American dollar in the world, or would you vote the way of watching the American dollar continue to crumble?
I can't guarantee that my vote for anybody else is going to vote for a dominant in the American dollar.
Trump his whole thing is wanting to reinforce the American dollar with the fiat currency that we have.
Right.
Whereas Biden has just been printing more and more money and giving it to other countries.
Yeah, I'm against that.
So that's kind of, where a lot of people are seeing it as Trump versus Biden, where I would like to say if you love the American dollar and the way of life that we have, it's almost like you would have to vote for Trump, unfortunately, or at least the Republican Party.
Let me blow through some more of these phone calls because they're all here. Good morning. You're on the Mike Calta Show. Who's this?
Good morning, Mike. It's Santo. How you doing, buddy?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. Here's my thing. Nobody's voting for Biden. You're either voting for Trump or against Trump. Nobody's actually voting for Biden. Biden really is not running anything. He's an early onset dementia, and that's visibly anybody can see that. We're in the U.S. is in the business of regime change. And we have been in this business for the last 150 years. If this had happened to any other country, we would have sent the CIA in and established a coup and invaded the country. That's what we do as a country. We've done it all over the world. Okay, I'm just surprised it hasn't happened here yet, which is what's being set up here. And people give Biden a lot of credit for what's going on right now. Biden really has nothing to do with what's going on right now. Biden didn't initiate any of this. It's the people behind Biden or that kind of put him in there. Like I said, he's just a figurehead. You know what I mean?
We all agree on that. We all agree the president's mostly a figurehead in most situations.
Correct. And it just separates the country. You know, Trump, Biden, it's the Chevy Ford, black, white. You know what I mean? It just separates everybody down the middle. I was independent. I've been independent for 35 years. I don't understand. I can't understand when people say that they look at Biden. Jill Biden was on TV the other day, and she's telling the country that this guy's competent. You know what I mean? You can't say that.
Even if he is competent mentally, like say he was able to pass a test, he still doesn't have the skill set and he doesn't have the physicality to prove to the American people that he's able to handle that. I appreciate the call, brother. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Let me go to a couple more of these. Let's go to Roger. Roger, good morning. If Trump is in jail, will you vote for him?
Hello, this is Chicago Chuck.
All right, Chuck. Sorry, Chuck. If
please listen.
I'm listening.
I can't believe the number of sheep that keep calling in and saying that they're going to vote for Trump. My God, the guy is a criminal. He doesn't care about the working class. He's going to be cutting taxes for the rich, not for us.
Let me ask you this, Chicago Chuck. Right?
Yeah,
is that it?
Go ahead.
Do you think Joe Biden is a criminal, and do you think Joe Biden is for the everyman and cutting taxes?
Yeah, Joe Biden is absolutely for the everyman.
Because
Trump doesn't care about us.
Because why is
All
Biden?
he cares about,
Why is Biden for everyman?
Because all the things that he's done to try to, stabilize look at the economy.
Yeah, look at the economy.
It's never been better.
I'm sorry, what?
All right, Chuck. Thank you. I'm not. I only hung up on him because he's impossible to have a conversation with, not because I disagree with him. I do believe this is going to be angering to some people, but I do believe Biden is for the everyman. I am 100% for his.
What has he done?
Listen to me. I'm 100% for his debt relief for college students. I as a guy who has had college debt before and realized that there's a situation where you're never going to get out of it. These jobs are not going to be filled anymore if these people are going to get jobs where they're inundated with debt for the rest of their lives. You're going to lose teachers. You're going to lose counselors. You're going to lose these jobs that have no financial reward at the end. These people graduate from college and all they have is debt. They're never going to be able to climb out of it. I'm for some of that debt forgiveness. Why are you looking at me like you're like an upset parent?
I'm not. No, I mean, listen, I was fortunate enough to not have any debt coming out of college.
Yeah.
So I feel like this isn't something I should comment on.
Well, you didn't have any debt out of college, but also you didn't graduate from college.
Well, I
you
had
didn't
bright
have
futures.
and you didn't have, but you also didn't go into a field that was never going to pay you a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you look at when he decided to do debt forgiveness, how high inflation was, where the American dollar was. It's kind of like insurance companies or banks saying we're not going to charge you overdraft fees anymore.
Yeah.
But then they jack up the price of everything else, which I'm not saying is bad. I think I'm all for helping people feel less stressed out on their day to day. however we make that happen is awesome. I think instead of doing debt relief, you make the student loans not federally guaranteed, so that way.
There's a way better system to be out there. There's a way better system.
But I agree with you. I think that the debt relief was good for.
But
those
I feel the same way about Obamacare.
Yeah,
every president in my lifetime said that they were going to get some sort of national coverage, and the only one that stepped up was Obama.
I agree.
And Obama said it isn't perfect. It isn't perfect, but we have given health care to people who've never had it before, have never been able to afford it. I mean, most people out there listening to the show have jobs, have insurance, don't know what it's like to go to the emergency room and be told you don't have health insurance. Thankfully, but now more people are able to have insurance. More people that you want to talk about having less stress.
Yeah,
because people are able to afford medical insurance.
That was why I voted for Obama twice. Because of the medical care.
I'm just going to grab random calls. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
I think I would.
Thank you. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Chicago Chuck's a moron. Absolutely. Good job, Pap. You said the exact right thing. You got to vote against this corrupt system.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will you vote for Trump if he's in jail? Yes or no?
Yes, and I second the previous caller. That's Chicago Chuck's got to go back to Chicago. I don't know where he's buying his groceries and his stuff, but
yeah, I get
Trump's got to be better than what we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you vote for Trump if he's in jail? Yes or no?
Hey, give me 2 seconds to explain.
Go.
Hey, I moved here from another country, from a socialist country. I moved from Panama to here. And I'm a registered Democrat. And now I am going to vote for Trump because what I see what's going on is the same thing that Noriega did to the opposition leader that was trying to run for president, except for murdering people.
Right.
And I came here for a better life, and we watched it go on because I was friends with the opposition who was running for its daughter, who was beating the streets on national TV down there. He controlled the newspapers, our 3 channels of TV he controlled, and his national army did nothing to protect the opposition. And guess who they sent in? The U.S. military. They sent in to remove Noriega.
Yeah.
So it's the same exact thing that's going on in the United States. And what the problem is, and I'm glad to be here in the United States.
You made a very good point, but your 2 seconds are way over. Thank you, sir. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Hell yes.
Thank you. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Hell yeah. Chicago Chuck.
All right. Yeah. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no? Come on. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Yes, he made America great, and I just want to make Fridays great again by stating to the people of the Tampa Bay area, Friday.
No, you can't do a Friday chant in the middle of a phone poll. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
100%.
Thank you, sir. I don't even have to take any more phone calls. They're coming in. I'm taking them. They're going away. They're coming in. Nobody's screening them. 99% of the people that I talked to, except for Chuck, said that they would vote for him again. I'm going to run through these phone calls one more time. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Hell yeah, and Trailer Park Paul, not Chicago Chuck.
Yeah.
I'm with them.
Jeez. All right. Will you vote for Trump if he's in prison? Yes or no?
Of course. Your talking points on student debt are ludicrous, Mike.
Well, okay. Would you care to discuss this for a second?
I'll make it quick. Trust me. Yeah, if you buy a house or you buy a car and you can't afford it, you turn that thing in. So I'm okay with.
It's 100% different.
Student debt.
It's 100% different.
No, it's not. You financed your education. You financed your education. So if you can't pay the payment, then you either turn your diploma in.
That's showing your ignorance in the situation, sir. These are not people who can't pay. You have to pay. In order to qualify, you have to pay, and you have to pay on time for 10 years. You have to pay into it. It's not people who can't pay.
Take their degree. Take their degree and rip it up. They got.
I'm not, you don't have the facts straight, so I can't argue with you.
But the problem with it is, whenever they're canceling the student loans, who is paying that debt?
But that's the money is coming from our government. the problem,
it's not though. It's coming from regular, hardworking Americans.
Yeah, but that's where the money for the government comes from taxes. But what it's saying is that, so eliminate the debt. I mean, eliminate the program to pay for the thing. Now you have a bunch of people who are choosing to take these jobs who are saying, I wanted to be a teacher, but I can't afford to live on a teacher's salary and have to pay my student debt. And these aren't people that they're just going, you're a lawyer, we're going to forgive your student debt. You're a doctor, we're going to forgive your student debt. They're doing it for the people who are making ridiculous salaries to try and to take these jobs that people don't want, to be a counselor, to be a teacher, to be somebody who has a very thankless job and who's not making enough money to afford to pay for their college debt. So what happens is if you say, I'm not going to help you out and I'm not going to do it, we're going to eliminate those jobs.
It's beneficial to the society overall for those people too.
For those people, these are people who are sacrificing
live their lives,
what they could have done or what they could have been.
I get it.
And it's not just forgiving loans of people who randomly just pick it. You have to qualify. You have to have paid that loan for 10 years. You have to have not had any late payments. It's not like you're just picking people who can't afford their loans and just paying them off.
But let's say that's 10% of the people that go to college and get a degree are going to be a social worker or be a teacher or any of all that stuff. What about the other 90%?
The other 90% are not taking jobs that aren't going to pay them.
They're probably not in debt, right?
They're not. Well, even if but if you're a lawyer and you're debt, you're making ridiculous amounts of money to pay that debt back.
The problem
if you're a social worker, you're making $20,000.
The problem with this, though, also is this isn't changing what teachers and social workers and stuff are going to make. I get it that they're getting them out of debt. But I think they need to change that somehow.
Yes,
I don't
that's
know how
what Spanish
they do
is
it.
saying.
Yeah, exactly.
The problem is these loans that they're giving and what schools are charging for education. Yeah, it's a much bigger problem, but it is one step towards trying to help out.
But instead of doing debt forgiveness, just completely eliminating it for people, why don't they just extend it? So your payments aren't so high, you're still paying it back, and then it doesn't affect people that other people.
In some cases, these people have paid for 10 years. The majority of the money that is left that they still have to pay for, it may be cheaper to just pay that off.
I gotcha. Okay.
But it makes it bad for the economy, and it makes it good for colleges that are overpriced. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Look, the problem is not getting fixed, but it is a solution to try and help out these people who are taking these jobs and trying to do good for society. I'm not one of those people.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's a Band-Aid for them, but it's also causing problems in the long term. You know what I mean? It's not really solving anything. People are not fully
understanding how the program works. They hear that some people are getting college debt forgiveness and some people aren't, and they're getting very mad at that. But I think if people took the time to really learn what it's for and who they're giving it to and how you have to qualify for it, then they're going to go, okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense. And anybody who's ever been affected by a social worker or a teacher or a mental health counselor or somebody who's never making a lot of money, my wife was in that field and she worked for people above her who made garbage money, and they're the highest paid people in that institution, and they're making garbage money, and they still on top of that have all this debt. So their choice is to do what I did and say, well, I'm not helping anybody out. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to take one of these jobs, and then say, well, okay, well, who's going to do these jobs anymore?
That's why there's a massive shortage of teachers and all these.
And in the 90s, it was nurses, and that's the key. So look, it may not be the greatest program, it may not be set up the best, but I think people don't that guy didn't understand it because he's talking about people who didn't pay their loans. It's not people who don't pay their loans. It is actually people who are paying their loans who are getting forgiveness.
A lot of people on the surface just take it as another free handout.
Yes, but it sounds a lot like that.
Well, I think also a big issue is we keep calling it debt. It's not the same as any other debt. Like, you can file for bankruptcy and get rid of that debt. College student loan debt, you can't get rid of. It rolls over. It's worse than medical debt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not the same thing as just your average debt, which I think people get lost in.
And if you don't pay that,
they
it follows you for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah.
Can I ask you this? With all this talking about teachers and all that stuff, did my fifth grade teacher walk in here with her perfume? Does everybody else smell that?
The scenting machine just went off.
That is overwhelming. I'm like, good Lord.
It's strong. It's strong in here. Yeah.
It's nice.
All right. Comedian Kyle Kinane is here. He has never been on the show before. He has not been to Side Splitters before, and he is one of my favorites. This is a good opportunity for you to go see him this weekend. He'll be at Side Splitters tonight and Saturday night, 2 shows each night. If you'd like to go, I would go to sidesplitterscomedy.com and get your tickets before his appearance on the show, because after he's here, it's going to definitely sell out. So Kyle Kinane in the studio with us next on 102.5 The Bone.